At least the microphone was on this.
It's still kind of choppy. Let's see. Oh, your light just came on your microphone.
Okay. There it is.
Still not good quality though.
Right now.
No, it's the same. Sounds like you're in a bathroom, like echoing.
Anything there? Any better?
There it is.
All right.
Gotcha. So we had the microphone turned on, but it wasn't plugged in this time. Uh-oh. Are you there still?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. I was gonna say, so the microphone was turned on, but it wasn't plugged in this time.
Yeah.
All right.
Might need to do that too.
So I'm trying an experimental. Have you seen those apps that project like weird graphics on you? You could do Instagram. I'm trying it right now. What do you think? Like the sunlight rays. Right. It's like a unique zoom feature. Makes me look cool.
Is it really?
Yeah. Hopefully the sun will go down in like. It's like hopefully the sun goes down in like 5 minutes and I don't look like a zebra over here.
Right.
So we are live. This is episode 6 of the podcast. I did a little solo cast uploaded today, actually, as we're recording this. So hopefully our listeners don't hate me for it. Because, dude, doing a solo podcast, it kind of sucks. It's boring. Like, I feel awkward.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. I would say like one of the best ways, I think, at least for me and you, probably because we just don't have as much podcast experience, for a solo cast is usually either like not really like maybe a rough template, but mostly I think if you go live, and you like mention to people that you're going live, because then it kind of gives you like I guess a back and forth.
Yeah, you could talk to the people. I would do that, but I'd only have like maybe 4 people tune in when I go live. So, I might be the same situation. I just figured like, screw it. I'm not going to get better at doing this unless I do it. Same thing with like my Instagram stories. I was never one to like hold my phone up and talk to it. So I still feel like awkward as hell when I do it. But the only way I'm going to improve is if I practice it. Right. So
true. Very true.
Yeah. But I think it came out all right. I don't think it was like unwatchable by any means. I don't know. Some people, if you watched it in the comments, let me know if you liked it or not. If it sucks, tell me it sucked too. Like, I don't know. I kind of like to be abused sometimes. Yeah.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's
I saw what's his name? Blessings took 3rd, right?
Yeah. He was, I think he was a little flat in prejudging, like maybe a little over diuretic, or didn't get enough food or something. My guess would be probably too much diuretic, because it's his pro debut. I'm sure there was a lot of nerves, and so even if I was coaching, if we were like good but close, I might be like, yeah, let's do a little diuretic just to make sure like we're shredded, because showing up soft is like the worst.
Right.
So I think he showed up a little flat, but by the night show he filled back out, and I think that's actually what jumped him up to 3rd. Otherwise he might have been like 4th or 5th or worse.
Yeah, I saw him mention something about that, about his he knew what he needed to do by nighttime. And then I saw he's gonna be doing the New York Pro, right? Like he's jumping in on. Yeah,
and that's this. So it's a week later, right? Saturday.
Okay.
So and that's where he's gonna go heads up with that Nick Walker. So he's been like calling him out the whole time,
That'll make it interesting for sure.
Yeah, honestly, from what I see on social media, it's always tough because like on Blessing social media and on Nick Walker social media, they both look phenomenal, right? But then you see Blessing like on stage, and a lot of people like kind of give him, I think because he talks so much shit, people like wanted to give him crap too. Like some people are hoping he fails, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, he was trash. And I don't think that at all. It was a very good showing for a debut. So we'll see if Nick's photos from Instagram translate over to the stage. If they do, I don't think Blessing's going to have a chance against him. But we'll see
Yeah.
if Blessing fills out and brings the same conditioning, and Nick doesn't look as good on stage as he does in Instagram, which is true for most people. And maybe there's a battle there.
Right.
But,
Right.
yeah. The kind of irony of it all is that just like in UFC, right? Or boxing even, rarely do the like best fighters get the most attention. Usually the people getting attention are the ones just making the most noise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Very true.
it's kind of the case here with the New York Pro, Justin Rodriguez. He won the Indy Pro. He's probably the heavy favorite going into New York Pro, and like nobody's talking about him because of this Blessing Nick thing, you know? So
yeah. I mean, mentally, I've been out of bodybuilding for forever now. So but yeah, I saw he won and I was like, oh, I haven't heard much about this guy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it just goes to show you, you know, you got guys like Sean Clarita and, you know, all these other like monsters that, you know, me and you kind of knew about, but like they were the bodybuilder. You know what I mean? Like those guys that are just like crept up out of nowhere and they just stayed consistent. And, you know, then people are like, oh man, that guy's like overnight. And I was like, no, that guy's been making some noise for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful, I guess, that we have like the modern day where people can like, we can have a podcast like this and you can kind of create your own income from it as a bodybuilder, right? Because we all know the prize money at the shows is not enough to live off of.
Right.
So, but at the same time, I'm still like a Dorian Yates type of guy. Like,
oh yeah,
to just focus on the training and bodybuilding and let like the magazines or the media promote you. You know, that would still be my dream. I wish it was still like that, but unfortunately, it's not. I mean,
yeah.
But bodybuilding media is almost non-existent. There's only maybe 2 or 3 like Instagram pages or YouTube channels that even cover it. So,
oh yeah, I mean, just look at what bodybuildingcom has become. You know what I mean? When back when I think when we started training, I remember like the very first video they put on, it was like called The Fit Show. And like I remember watching like, you know, those weekly, and now it's like it's like I think at the time Bob Ciccarello was like the heavy that they had on there, you know. Now it's like I don't even know if they cover bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Like it's all just like, I don't even know if they cover shows. It's just like, here's a billion products.
Yeah. Here's some random girl doing like 4 different styles of bodyweight lunges to help you tone your hamstrings or something, you know? But
tone.
Well, and then I got excited when Generation Iron came on the scene, because that first documentary they did with Kai Green and Phil Heath and Ben Pekulski and stuff was actually pretty cool. Like I enjoyed it. I still think it's a good film.
Yeah.
But then it's just been all downhill from there. Like every other documentary they have was all about influencers, and all their news is all about like just stupid influencer drama. And
yeah,
I get it. They're running a business and that's what sells, but it sucks that that's what sells, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just like that things, you know, everything's become the fast and the instant gratification stuff. And I mean, that's what, you know, I think because everything is in 15 to 30 second clips now, it just, that's what it's become all around.
Well, do you think too, with bodybuilding and powerlifting, even, that it's been the same thing for decades, you know? Like, I mean, it's evolved, but like, how many times can you watch somebody squat in the gym and it be entertaining? You know, how many times can you watch somebody deadlift on a platform and it be entertaining? So the only other variable we have is like the drama and bullshit that follows it, that like real lifters don't care about and don't really even want to have around, you know. But as far as like trying to have an entertainment platform, how do you make bodybuilding and powerlifting entertaining from like a media standpoint, or from even like a contest coverage standpoint, like filming it and stuff? I think that's probably where Blessing like did it right, is he's like, man, all these guys are boring. I'm just going to show up and make some noise. And he's getting all the attention. And in today's age, that attention leads to money. So like, you know, I don't know. I have some ideas, but I'll let you go first.
Oh no, I was going to say, yeah, it's like you said, it's just with bodybuilding and powerlifting, it's just, there's so much of the same thing. It's, I mean, who knows the ideas that will make it, you know, what it is. Like it does make it interesting when it's, you know, this guy talking to this guy, but in powerlifting, it's all about just numbers anyway, you know? So that's like, yeah, but like, what's the numbers, you know? And I guess maybe seeing who can perform under pressure when things are close, you know what I mean? But other than that, yeah, it's like you said, it's like, how many times can you watch people squat? You know what I mean? Unless it's like Russia where they're throwing out fireworks and a live band playing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Like,
got like
it's not, it's
Ramstein in
not
the
very fun
background
for
with
the
fire.
audience. Yeah. If you had Rammstein or whatever, Rammstein at every meet, that might make it a little more entertaining, you know. But
So my idea for both, and it's unfortunate that you can't do this because I think people would kill themselves with drugs to do it. But you know, the type of motorcycle racing I follow, so they have 18 rounds, right? And each round is like a championship in and of itself, meaning they have like a trophy ceremony where they step up on the podium, they spray champagne, and like, you know, winning that or placing on the podium, which is top 3, is like a huge feat for a lot of these guys. So like to do that, to get these podiums or get a win at even just one, what they call national, so one race, is like impressive, and you get to be hyped up and excited for that one event. But there's a points system involved. So based on however you place from first to last, you get a certain amount of points. And at the end of the year, the championship is determined based off of total points accumulated. And so I think, like in powerlifting, for example, could you imagine if we had like a pro league with like, I don't know, 8 or 10 meets that were spaced out over how, you know, 10 months, whatever. I don't know. Then, you know, based on your placings, you got points for that. And then the points go through the end of the year. So I think that could make it more interesting, because now it's like, I don't know, kind of like football too, like every weekend until playoffs, right? That if we had something like that, it'd be kind of interesting, because you could say, oh, well, you know, this guy won the first 2 meets, but then he's placed 3rd in the last 2 because he missed some lifts. And now in the championship points standings, there's like a battle. But the 2 flaws I saw in that is, one, there's not that many elite guys that are that close in strength. You got like a handful that maybe are close, and then the rest tail off pretty quickly.
Right.
And then the other thing is if it's like a 10-month season, I don't want to see guys like blasting gear for 10 months to win some championship, because you know.
I think maybe with that model, the realistic way to do it might be like maybe at the most 3, but I mean, I think that's probably the most you can get with a season off season for at least powerlifters. I'm sure like it also, I mean, it probably depends on I guess the weight class and I guess the season or how long a powerlifter's been in, because, you know, the older you get, and then on top of that, the overall poundage you do, the longer. I mean, I noticed when I was getting towards the end, it was just like, towards the end, it was like, it would take me a full month sometimes to recover from a meet, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I wouldn't even think about, like, I would always tell myself, I'm like, I'm just going to I'll start thinking about a prep the second my body feels not garbage for a month, you know what I mean? So realistically, it's like, okay, I got to not feel like garbage for a month, then train decent for a month or 2, and then decide 3 or 4 months from then, you know? So altogether, that's probably about a 6-month period where it's like, okay, that's when the next meet will happen, you know? So that would kind of like, I could see it happening, but it would just have to balance out weird.
Well, that would kind of make me think of like, it's kind of sad that at the elite level, it would have to be based around like the length of a steroid blast, you know? But I was like, okay, so if we had like a 16 or 20 week block of time, right? And then what if every other week there was a meet, you know? And I know you said it would take, I mean, it takes a long time to recover, but knowing that, you'd have to apply some strategy, right? Because if you just go all out for the first meet to win, and then you're broken for 2 months, you're not going to place as well in those next few meets. So you kind of have to apply a little strategy. The other interesting thing would to not necessarily go by points and maybe do a total poundage at the end of the series. So it's like you have all these meets where you could win the meet, but then at the end, the total you put up over all of them. So it makes it like instead of it being just, excuse me, I guess like maybe the goal is like, instead of it being just one show or one meet at a time, we need a better way of like making them all mean something to make it a season, because then it's entertaining to follow a season more so than just here's one meet or one show.
Right.
Bodybuilding is close with that with their qualification system, but really we're just kind of watching all, like, I actually just did a video prior to our podcast here, kind of like a little New York Pro preview, but I go into that as far as what the season means. And in bodybuilding, it's like guys are shooting for wins because wins are Olympia qualification, but you can also qualify based off points. But I think it's only like the top 3 or top 5 in points. So like, and those guys chasing points, they're the bottom of the barrel because the other guys are winning, right? So it kind of, it's not as you have to be a hardcore fan to go like, oh, I'm excited to follow the 15th place guy at the Olympia,
Yeah, and the only way, and now because of everything, the only way those guys get any, heat is basically they just become the YouTube guy. You know what I mean? And then that's how you get a 15th place guy that nobody knows is a 15th place guy till they get out there and they're amongst the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think about stupid shit like this all the time. I'm never going to be the guy probably to do any of it to make a change. So if anything, maybe somebody hears our podcast and they're like, yeah, they got some good ideas,
it gets inspired.
I still like, if I ever did anything, what I would actually love to do would be a fusion between bodybuilding and powerlifting.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. Like my idea for it would be, it'd have to be a weekend thing. So like Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. And day one would be, I think the best way to go about it would be day one would be the bodybuilding show, and day 2 would be the powerlifting meet. And my reason for that is that a powerlifting meet takes a hell of a lot more out of you than a bodybuilding show. You could go either way, but my thing is like, the goal is to not be like super depleted and dehydrated for the bodybuilding. You got to factor that in because you have to be healthy enough to put up some good numbers. And then just have some way to make it like an equal scoring. So, if you're a really good power lifter, but kind of chubby, you gotta win that because you're not going to place that well in the bodybuilding show, and vice versa. But I think the thing I'm so excited about is I would have been good at it. So I'm like, let me make something for me, But
yeah, exactly. A hybrid type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think of guys like Dan Green and like Konstantin Konstantinovs and God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. PhD deadlift on Instagram.
Right.
I feel bad. I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to disrespect him. How do I not remember his name right now?
It's slipping. Oh, Ben Pollock.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, so to get like even 10 people like that to do a weekend event like that, that'd be pretty sick. To be who's the best at both, that's that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, anyways, I got some news on my end, but you got anything going on your end since the last time we aired an episode?
Nothing as of recent. I mean, just we celebrated Mother's Day. We basically I bought like $100 worth of really good baked goods, and then I think my sister did the same in a Hawaiian barbecue, and I basically just ate till I was like disgusted with myself Sunday.
Nice. That's how these like Hallmark holidays should be, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Till you hate yourself.
Yep. Yeah, I did. My mom actually came over to the house, so we all kind of hung out together. And then Becca, one of the greatest things that came out of the pandemic for us is we got some Korean barbecue grills, and so we could do Korean barbecue on the patio. And that was our Mother's Day dinner. Yeah, I'm so happy we found that.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's fun. You got to come over. We'll do it. Maybe
I'm down.
We'll do a Korean barbecue podcast.
Oh, I'm so down. Korean barbecue podcast. I'm down.
But now the other thing, the most exciting thing I got, let me actually share my screen. I mentioned it in the other episode, but like a asshole. Oops, hang on. I didn't take a picture of it because I'm not like a flashy guy, right?
Yeah.
So I had nothing to like reference. And here we go. I got one of these. Can you see it?
Oh shit! Nice.
Yeah. So mine's white.
Okay.
I mentioned like on the other episode that I'm just not a guy that's going to post my vehicle on social media to like have it be there so I can share it on a podcast. I don't know. I'm just kind of weird like that.
Is that the one you got with the Trail Special Edition?
Yeah, I got the Trail Special
nice.
Edition, and mine's white. So it's like,
is that like a 2021 special? Because I'm somewhat familiar with Toyotas. I know they had like the off road, or they had with Tacomas they had the 4x4 Sport, the 4x4 off road, and then they also had the TRD Pro. So that's like a new package, right?
yeah, this is a new package for this year and probably something ongoing. And they basically you have like Tacomas, right? And they come in four cylinder, 6-cylinder, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. And then when you go up from there, they have the things like TRD off road,
right?
And then limited, and then TRD Pro. And the TRD off road is like just one level up from a regular one. The limited is like for the people that want all the cush stuff, all the technology, or and then the TRD Pro is like, this is everything we got.
Yeah.
So the Trail Special is kind of like close to like a TRD off-road with some of the TRD Pro features and some of the limited features.
Oh, nice.
And so like I got the TRD Pro wheels and tires. So they got like Kevlar reinforced tires and stuff.
Right.
And then some of the other off-road stuff, although it doesn't have the crazy suspension like the TRD Pro. And I didn't need all that. If I'm going to do all that, I'll do it myself down the road. But
yeah, I was going to say it's still a 4x4 suspension.
Yeah. And it's still 4-wheel drive, but the reason I ended up getting the Trail Special was because that was the only one they had. There's like a huge shortage.
Yeah.
And it also fit, like, I think they had a couple TRD Pros, but they're like, the price jumps like 10-15 grand real quick for that.
TRD Pros are not, I mean, at least in Tacomas, I mean, honestly, TRD Pros in pretty much all of those lineups is not, for the most part, it's not worth the money. You're spending like 12, like you said, like 12, maybe even 15 extra for literally just a paint job, really.
Yeah.
I will say that like some of the exclusives that they come out with, because they do special paint jobs for those are really cool. Like I still need, well, I don't know. I gotta like invest in Dogecoin, or like find some Bitcoins around here or something, because I really want this year's version of the Tundra, just because it's like, I've had a Tacoma. You remember my old white Tacoma? Mm-hmm. Now I have a 4Runner. And I wanted to get that year's 4Runner, the 17 4Runner TRD Pro, because it was like the first year. Like now they have a bunch of them, but it was the first year that Cement came out. And then this year,
is yours a TRD Pro or
no? No, mine's just mine's just a SR5 4x4.
Okay.
So I kind of thought the same thing. I was like, oh, I'll go. Like I thought about getting the off-road, which I was going to say, like for most people, I would say like get the off-road or whatever, if in like a 4Runner, because it's all it is. It's the TRD Pro minus the badging. The only other difference is like it has Fox suspension versus like the TRD Pro suspension, but the Fox suspension I think is like, or no. So it's something, but basically like they're both suspensions are pretty like ridiculous in either one. But you get like front and rear locking differential in both. So it's it's better to just get the off-road. But I got the 4x4 because I was like, oh, A, I'm kind of being cheap. And also B, I was like, if I want to add anything extra to it, I'll do it myself. Same thing, which I did add like a leveling kit and stuff. Yeah. But the TRD Pro Tundra this year is like, if you look up Lunar Rock, that's like the one that's out. It's like the craziest looking color. And this year's Tundra is the last V8 Tundra. So like, that's why I wanted even more, because it's like, it's going to be the Eleanor of like, of Tundras, you know what I mean? Like it's the unicorn. After this, you can't really, it's basically anything 2021 and older is going to be a V8. Everything after that's going to be the, whatever they have now, dual V6 or whatever.
Well, I know that Yeah, I know that was one of the that's been one of the kind of constant critiques of the Tundra for a while. Is it doesn't get the same gas mileage as the other full size trucks
Right.
in the class.
Right.
But it's a Toyota, and in my opinion, Toyotas make the best probably vehicles, period. But
Oh,
especially
yeah.
trucks, they're known for reliability and have a good resale value and everything
Yeah.
else. So
You can look it up. I'm pretty sure there is a Tundra out there. I know it's a Tacoma, but I'm pretty sure there is a Tundra out there that has literally 1 million miles. And
Mm.
like that's the thing with Tundras, and like pretty much any one of these like trucks or like SUVs is, if it's a Toyota, you're like it'll hit your 100,000 and it's still like just blinks an eye at 100,000.
yeah, that was my thing too. So I had my little Corolla, right, and it served its purpose. I needed great gas mileage and cheap at the time to pay off debt.
Yeah.
And I did that. And so I need 4-wheel drive because I go to the snow and I plan to go to the desert with Riley and stuff. But then I need a truck because I need to haul motorcycles.
Yes.
So I was actually gonna do like the moto van thing, try and get like a 4-wheel drive van and keep my Corolla. But then I'm like, dude, with everything I got going on, I don't have time for a project to build some like creepy van that's 4-wheel drive,
That's so funny because you're like one of the only other people that I'm like, I just want a badass van.
Yeah.
I want like a fucking, like, I think Thor has one. Like a V8 fucking, lifted van, windows or no windows, doesn't matter to me.
Yep.
If I go no windows, I just want to put like an old school, like 80s vibe on it, where they have like dragons and stuff on
Dude,
the side.
I want like
I want one of those old vans.
Krieger from Archer, his vans.
Yes.
Like with the
Krieger.
chain steering wheel and the shag carpet
Yes.
and a badass stereo. And yeah, that's honestly, I thought it'd be just the coolest thing, especially to do the motorcycle stuff, because I could throw the bike in the back and camp out of it. Like there's all kinds of stuff. But
yeah,
being practical, I'm like, I need one reliable vehicle that can haul the family around and do all the fun stuff.
Right.
And that took me to the Tacoma. So let me see if there's another picture on here, because there it is. So it has this.
Oh wow.
Oh, you can't click on it. The hell.
It's got an ice chest on the side.
Yeah. So this side is
gangster.
an ice chest, and this side is like a storage unit.
Wow.
So
that's really fucking cool.
I could probably fit 2 dirt bikes right here, no problem.
Right.
And then put my ice chest there and all my shit in there, throw a toolbox in somewhere, and I'm set. So like that was, as soon as I saw that, whenever I was talking to my like car guy,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, I'm in, let's do it. Like,
yeah.
This fits my budget. Everything is perfect. And I got a good deal on it. So I'm happy. And, I telework right now, so I've barely driven it. I'm like, I go outside and I just look at it, I'll take it to the grocery store and back. I'm like,
yeah,
can't wait to put it to use. But
that's awesome, man. Congrats.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's also, you see here, on this side right here, there's an outlet. So like you're
nice.
camping or whatever, you want to plug something in, you could hook it up right there. It's pretty cool.
I'm actually in the market. I've been in the market for a while, but I probably will be buying a old used Ford Focus hatchback this weekend. So
nice.
So talk about getting old and being excited about things. I'm excited to own this gas mileage, especially with the gas shortage going on.
Yeah, oh man. Yeah, I was gonna say you probably need a good little cheap gas mileage car with all the commuting you do.
Dude, I've been needing it. Thankfully, my girlfriend has a RAV4, and like I love scooting around in that because I'm pretty sure it actually might have the same engine as my 4Runner. So like that thing could just take off
like half the
and
size.
It still gets like 30. Yeah. It's like half the size and it still gets 30 miles to the gallon. Oh, there's that beautiful bitch.
Yeah, that's it, right? That's the one you're talking about.
That's the Lunar Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we saw a Lunar Rock 4Runner the other day at nighttime, and like it literally stopped me mid conversation. We were talking. I was like, "Oh my god, there it is." She's like, "What?" And then I was like, "Look at it. It's beautiful." Yeah, look at that thing.
I think they're crushing it with their paint colors. They have one of the Tacoma too called Nightshade, I think. It's
the Nightshade's like, it's like a limited, but it's like blackout. Like they black out everything. And
yeah. Now that's what they did with my version of the Tacoma too, is all the badges are black and everything like that. So
yeah. Damn, that's a cool ass trim. I mean, I probably would have been more apt to get that back when I was like teetering on the line between a Tacoma and a 4Runner. I think the only thing that swayed me was that I already had a Tacoma. So I was like, you know what? Like, I've already had this, but that, and then I was just like, at the time I was like 270. So that, and I was like, all my friends I'm like the smallest of all my friends. So I kind of need some extra room in this car.
So, well, I just stopped the screen share, but switching gears, let me turn it back on. I'm sure you saw the trailer for this.
Yes, I did.
I'm pumped for that. Woody Harrelson as Carnage, like, it doesn't get any better for me. I'm a big Woody Harrelson fan. So
yeah, I'm a fan of Woody Harrelson. That guy's got a range on him, and just I don't know. There's a darkness to him with some of the, like, what was it, Natural Born Killers? You know, like he brings out some of that in this movie, and it'll be good.
I think it was the first season of True Detective with him and Matthew McConaughey.
I still got to watch that show. I know,
dude.
I know,
dude.
I've heard nothing but amazing things. Honestly, even just the trailers, like I was like, dude, this show looks fucking awesome. And it's one of those things randomly in my mind. I'm like, I got to watch that season of True Detective.
So yeah, the other seasons, I kind of watched the second, some of the third or whatever, and they're all right. But the first season, dude, is like probably one of my top shows of all time. Like, I don't want to say that True Detective is one of my top shows because the other seasons are like, each one's different. So it's kind of one of those weird things. But the first season of True Detective is probably one of the best seasons for a show, period. Like, it's just that good.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm pumped on this. I thought we probably talked about that, but
yeah, I'm excited. It still makes me a little nervous just because it's Sony and it's its own thing, and it has nothing to do with Marvel. Also, that if you see Morbius right there, the same thing. I don't think Morbius is going to be tied into Marvel at all. I think it's its own little Sony deal. So that's my only thing, is like literally, like the Venom movie I was good with, but there was still, some little things, just being a comic nerd and stuff. But my biggest gripe was like, all he had to say was like, if you would have seen the name Peter Parker in the background, or like heard Peter Parker, or just shown like, that web was somewhere in New York or something like that, then I'd be like, oh, you know what I mean? But that was my only gripe with the movie, is I'm like, just like, even if you don't introduce them into, like, they never met, like, if you just have the hint that like they might cross paths, you know what I mean, then I think that would do some justice to it.
So do you know if Venom 2 is going to be rated R or PG-13? I haven't looked into that yet.
I've heard PG-13 more recently, but that was just kind of off of like comments that I saw off of the original trailer. So I don't know for sure if it's going to be PG-13 or not. I hope they don't, hopefully they make it rated R like the first one.
Wait, no, the first Venom was PG-13, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
I think you're right. I think originally it was supposed to be R, and then they made it PG-13.
Well, because I think that was one of the things that we had talked about before, was that when it was PG-13 and it's Sony, we were like worried they were going to screw Venom all up, Yeah. And the fact that they had to, like, I think it was you that actually said this exactly, is that they nerfed him, but it was good.
Yes.
They did it right.
Yeah.
But I just don't see a way that you could nerf Carnage and do it right.
Wow.
No what I mean?
Kidding, man. Yeah, so, if you're gonna have Venom and Carnage in the movie, you have to make that rated R. Like, just make it like Logan. Just make it dirty and gritty, and it'll be a cult classic.
Well, I mean, they should look at the success of Deadpool as a rated R film.
Yeah.
I mean, it still crushed it. It doesn't have to be PG-13, but I feel like with the first Venom being PG-13, like, for example, my nieces, which honestly, they're like teenagers now. They're like 12, 13. So they could watch a rated R comic book movie. But I feel like there's a lot of kids that kind of fell in love with the nerfed Venom. And so if you don't make a movie for them, you might lose the money. I don't know.
That's like one thing, because like they did make Venom a little cutesy, and I knew it was a thing when I remember at the time I was at the gym, and I overheard like 2 or 3 girls who didn't know anything about like any of those movies were just like, oh my God, I love Venom. Like, I want a Venom. And I was like, ugh, I almost threw up. You know, it's like, what have you done to my boy?
Becca said that.
Yeah, see, there you go. I want a Venom. Like, God damn it.
Okay. I'm mixed on it because for one, I'm like, Becca loves all the Marvel stuff with me, and like I've said before, I'm trying to get her into more of the Star Wars stuff. But the fact that when there's a new like Marvel show or Marvel movie coming out, she'll send me like text message or DMs on Instagram of like the trailers and different things. She gets just as hyped. So I'm like, all right, I'm good. That means we can always go to the movies and watch it. I can always watch it at home. She's never going to be like, why are you watching all that? But
right.
But at the same time, like we're watching the movie or afterwards, I'm like, so in the comics, Venom, like he literally like eats people and bites their heads off, and it's like gory and violent, and so the cute little Venom that you're like in love with, he's not a hero. He's like an anti-hero kind of, so
yeah, he's literally a parasite. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He literally eats off his host and then leaves them for dead when they're done.
Yeah. I did like the humor where he doesn't like being called a parasite though.
Yeah, I do like that. That is funny. Yeah, I like when they make little notes like that, like about it, where it's like, oh, it's like canon in the comic or something, and then right away they just dismiss it. They like pay homage to it, but they're like, oh, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like when they in what was it? One of the I think it was like the 3rd Wolverine movie, and she like gives him a costume or whatever, or he like puts on a costume. Like, what did you expect? Yellow spandex? And it's like,
yeah.
Sons of, you sons of bitches, you did it.
Yep. Oh man, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I'm excited because we got New York Pro, which is this Saturday. I'm not sure. I'll probably air this tomorrow just because we make them. We'll crank it out, throw it on the channel.
Yeah, why not?
But then after that, we also got the Cal Pro.
Oh, that's right.
For open bodybuilding at the end of the month as well. So it's a good month for that. And then I also have another professional flat track race that I get to watch towards the end of the month. So I got a lot of things I can pay attention to and tune in. It kind of, takes your mind off the monotony of the rest of life. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with all the weirdness going on in the world.
Dude, I saw, like, I kind of tuned out for a while on the COVID stuff, but with my current job being a COVID contact tracer, like I have to stay up on a lot of it. Right. But I think as early as next month, California might be like mask free or something coming from our government.
Right.
And then the CDC is already saying, like, if you have a vaccine, you don't have to wear the mask. Right.
Yeah.
And then, but then I saw another Fauci's like, we might have seasonal mask wearing.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, didn't we learn throughout this whole pandemic that COVID isn't seasonal? I mean,
right.
Didn't Trump try and say something like, well, the weather's going to warm up, it'll go away, and it didn't.
Yeah.
And, so I'm like, well, for one, me, I don't like being told what to do by anybody.
Right.
So I'm never one for the government to have power over really anything.
Yeah.
But so I don't like the fact that they would mandate anything like that. Like, I don't want to be, even if I think that wearing a mask is the right thing to do, let me be the one to decide that. I don't like being told that we have to. Right. But I thought about the mask thing. I'm like, wearing a mask in the gym, horrible experience. I hate it.
Yes.
Having people wear masks in a grocery store, I'm all for that. I don't want to buy some like boogery food that somebody sneezed on. So like,
I could see that.
Maybe we keep that one, we can kind of pick and choose how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can understand. Like, if you're in a densely populated area or something like that, but we'll see. I feel like people are pretty shook about all this. And I feel like it's even if they say like, oh, it's fine and stuff, there's still going to be people out there with, 2 masks on their face and 3 on their butthole or something like that. So we'll see.
Dude, because me, man, I'm gonna read up all the nerdy shit, and I saw like somebody wrote this. None of it was actually scientific. It's all like opinion pieces of like sciencey people, right? Yeah. And one was saying that all the mask wearing is actually, I think I hear, is that Roddy making noise in the background?
Yeah, the dogs are fighting. They're wrestling.
So I read this thing. They said that because we had to wear masks for so long, we weren't as exposed to like various bacteria and different things. And so it may actually, wearing a mask might lower your immune system. But then the counter argument to that was that most people were wearing the same mask over and over and over, or a cloth mask that they never washed. And so that they were then actually introduced to new bacteria just by being dirty people wearing the same mask all the time. And it kind of like evened itself out. So
yeah, I probably, I mean, I don't know. For me, I wore it when in proximity of, you know, a lot of people, you know what I mean? But if I was like if I was at the block, or like, you know, somewhere where it was just like I'm outdoors, I don't like to get around a bunch of people at once. You know what I mean? So I keep my distance. I'll keep my mask off. If I'm going into a store and the store requires it, it's like, you know what? I'll do it just so that nobody fucking annoys me. You know what I mean? But like, if it's not being mandated where I'm at, like I'll do it because, you know, sometimes I could see it might make a few people uncomfortable, and I'd rather just be like, you know what? Pay for my thing, leave. You know what I mean? Take it right off. But just with all that, like, for me, I'm around construction sites all the time. Like, I don't know how many times, literally even over this past year, where like I've dropped a piece of my beef and I'm like, look around and I just like throw it in my mouth real quick. I'm like, you know, I think I'm good.
I got a feeling most of your coworkers aren't going to judge you.
No, definitely not. Yeah. I mean, we drink.
Doesn't seem like that's that sort of career where they're like, oh, that's gross, Mason.
Yeah, very, very few. Yeah. I mean, I think most like them and us, I think most of us grew up drinking hose water. So I think we're all right.
Yeah, exactly. So I grew up drinking hose water out in the country, where it turns out that the place that was giving us water had like crazy, like all of our water was contaminated with bad shit. So like, not only was the hose water bad, but so was the filtered water we drank inside.
It's like that movie Cabin Fever.
Why my ears are so big. People...
Yeah, right.
Dude, I lived with a mask because I was working at the prisons the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Up until the last few months when I got this new job. And the job I had before this was working literally in the kitchen of a prison, surrounded by inmates and like kitchen staff. You know, I was running the warehouse in there. And dude, there was people, no joke. I think during the whole like pandemic while I was working at the prison, I probably had it happen at least 4 or 5 times where somebody who I worked with directly, like same room, you know, exchanging papers or boxes or whatever we're doing, you know, around them all the time, ended up testing positive.
Oh, geez.
Right? And they were testing me. First it was once a week, then it was twice a week. So like I got tested twice a week for like 6 months.
Wow.
Shoving the thing up my nose or scraping the back of my throat or whatever they were doing.
Right.
And so every time that happened, I'm like, well, I probably got it. So I'd come home and I'd keep my mask on and do the whole thing. So I try not to give it to the house. And I never got it. And I think 2 things why I think I didn't get it. One is I think that I have a really good immune system from all the supplements and nutrition and training and everything I've done. Yeah. I mean,
I think also because you grew up in the country.
Yeah. It was drinking that radioactive hose water.
Yeah. You were drinking polluted water.
So I think that's part of it. But I think the biggest thing is I naturally social distance. I don't I like my space. So I don't get all close to people. Like I would see people literally standing with each other talking, and they'd pull their mask down and like spit at each other as they talk. I'm like, you guys are sure enough, they test positive. Like,
right.
But yeah, so I think that's it, man. Is I like being introverted was my defense against getting COVID. But
yeah, I think COVID has been a-okay for all the introverts. I think they're all flourishing right now.
I've seen some stuff on social media, like some memes that said like, you know, the whole world locks down and you realize you're an introvert because your life didn't really change a whole lot. You know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I saw something and it said like, there was like 2. One of them was like, oh, thank God everything's back to normal. And then it just shows somebody in front of their computer, like, you know, Cartman was in that what do you call it? Like that one episode. Yeah. And he's all like, they're like, the WoW episode, the World of Warcraft episode. And it's like, thank God everything's open now. And the guy's just like this in front of his computer. There's that one. And then I saw one and it said like, if you would have told me a year ago that I would have taken all this time to not learn a new skill or do anything with myself, I would have been like, you know what? That sounds right.
Sounds like oh man. Yeah, I'm glad things are getting more back to normal just because well, movie theaters, that was a huge one. I mean, I knew I loved going to the movies, but I didn't know I loved it that much. I mean, I missed that so much.
I knew I missed the movie theaters. I mean, like I've had in-depth like talks with my girlfriend about what movies mean to me and just like, you know what I mean? Like, and talking about them, I'm like, God damn, I love movie theaters, you know, like I miss them so much. Like, I mean, that was like part of the way me and my dad bonded, you know, like when I was growing up and like going to school, I remember I'd get in like a fight with my friends or something. My dad would come pick me up and he could just tell I was upset. And he's like, let's go see a movie, you know, or let's go fishing. You know, it was usually like one of those two things. Or sometimes like I remember for Jurassic Park, I saw that at a men's Chinese theater, which I don't even know if that's politically correct anymore, whatever it's called now. I saw Jurassic Park there. You know, like my dad was like,
we're talking about the OG.
The
Jurassic
OG,
Park?
the original Jurassic Park. My dad's like, hey, you're not going to school today. I was like, oh, fuck. All right, cool. And then I remember he took me there. And I remember we had this conversation like a few weeks ago. And he's like, what was that like as a kid? I was like, oh, it fucking scared the shit out of me. Because it's IMAX, it's like THX, like crazy, you know, and this is like the first time experiencing anything like this. I'm like 7 or 8 at the time. And it fucking like, I remember it like legitimately almost scared me. Because
that was like okay, by today's standards, we've seen all kinds of like horrible, scary movies, you know? And then we also have the internet where, so like, we're kind of numb to a lot of this, but when the first Jurassic Park came out, that was like a game changer as far as cinema and storylines and horror, even, and whatever else you want to call it. Like it was supposed to be that like scary you movie, like even for adults and everything. Right. So I got a funny Jurassic Park story. So when I was like in kindergarten or something, I went to a friend's house and his parents let us watch the original Jaws with them. Oh shit. And it scared me so much that I guess I wouldn't even get in the bathtub. That I was like, fuck you guys. I'm not doing it. You know, I like my mom had told me that I guess I would actually be laying in bed and I would scream for them to come help because I thought my room would fill up with water and Jaws would eat me. Like weird shit like that. Right. God. So, granted, I was like 5, so give me a little bit of a break, right?
No, trust me. I get it.
So whenever, Jurassic Park came out, I think I would have been you're what 2 or 3 years older than me, right? So like I think I was like 7 or 8 then, right? Okay. Went to another friend's house and his parents, we watched Jurassic Park with them, right? I don't know why all my friends at the time, the parents were like, yeah, you guys are little kids, it's totally fine. Like watch the stuff that'll give you nightmares. And so I guess they told my parents what happened, and I came home and my parents, I think they're like, oh, well, Jaws like freaked him out. We had to deal with this shit for a while. Like, what's going to be with the dinosaurs? But nothing. So turns out deathly afraid of great white sharks, but dinosaurs I'm cool with. So
I think it's just because we knew they were extinct or something. But yeah, like the thing about it was all of that freaked me out. I mean, there was some stuff that was kind of crazy, but I think it was just because it was so loud, and then like hearing the roar so loud. That was my first time in an IMAX, and then the first time, you know, I'm like 7 or 8. Imagine like how loud that gets, and then how big the screen is, and I was just like, what the fuck? But I was still like, I still had such a boner for it as a kid that I was just like, oh my God, like, yes, all of it. But yeah, the shark thing. I mean, even though I wanted to be like, originally when I was in high school, I wanted to be a marine biologist, still shark stuff still scared the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like you're literally have like, you're just in a world where you're like powerless. You know what I mean? Yep. It's like,
at least if I'm taking on a grizzly, I might be able to get like, I could poke its eye or I could punch it or something, but in the water,
oh yeah, it's like you can swim as hard as you want, and a shark will just casually come up and just take your leg off, just because it's like it's just like nothing to them.
They attack like seals so violently they fly like 20 feet out of the water. Like,
oh yeah,
this thousands of pound killing machine could hit you and take you up out of the water and bite you in half. Like, yeah, I'm good, man. I tried surfing. Like I went a bit a couple times in my life. I never got over that. I'd sit out there in the water. It's all gray early in the morning, and like, seaweed brushing my leg. I'm like, fuck this. I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get eaten by a shark. That's not how I go out.
Yeah. I still love the ocean. I still love, like swimming and stuff. But yeah, I don't know if I could be out there for long periods of time like that, or even like scuba diving for a long period of time. Like, I think I would, it's still, I think like a normal person, it just gets in the back of your mind. On a boat, I'm fine. Fishing, I'm fine. But
yeah,
I don't know if I'd want to hang out in the water for too long.
Like if I could touch the ground, really, like I guess my waist, like in the ocean, when I'm out past my waist and I can't touch the ground anymore, I'm like, nah, like a riptide's going to get me.
Right.
There's going to be some creepy sea monster we don't know about. It's going to take me out. Like I'm cool. I'll like drink Mai Tais on the beach and lay in the sand.
Yeah.
That's my beach experience.
I will say though, if it does cost my life at like 70 or 80 for the megalodon to be discovered, I think I'm good with that. Yeah. No, whenever I'm old, I want to die. I want to live a long time, be old, but I want to go out epically. I don't want to die old and in my bed. I want to be doing some crazy stuff. Yeah,
so
exactly.
The older I get, the more crazy I'm going to get. That's how it's going to be. So,
yeah, because why not?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? I got to put a pin on this thing. I got to, can't just have the last chapter be boring. That's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't want a neat bow. Like, fuck all that.
Yeah. It's like I'm totally cool with wearing Depends as long as I'm still like, I'm going to try and set a land speed record, as I wear them.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw so many people with this, like with what you said, like pandemic, like if they would have said I would have not learned a new skill or whatever, that would have been me. But I've seen so many other ones where people are like promoting being an entrepreneur, which is all cool. Like I'm all for it. But I've seen some of the, like, I don't know, the Gary V's and the different people that are like,
oh yeah,
you got to stop watching Netflix and movies and like basically suffer throughout your whole life or else you're not going to get anywhere. And I'm just like, man, fuck you guys. I like watching movies. Like watching shows on Netflix it's a huge enjoyment for me. I don't want my life to be void of that. Like you can keep a Bentley. I'd rather have Netflix. I'm cool with its priorities, man. You got to know where you're set, I guess. But
yeah, I'd rather escape into the imagination of Jon Favreau and watch a season of The Mandalorian. I'm good with that.
Yep. He's been like a godsend, right? Everything.
Yes, he has.
Well, I don't even know how long we've been chatting. I don't really got anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
You got anything?
I think I'm good. I mean, I'm pretty much summarized the week. Aside from that, you got anything going on this weekend? I'm going to try and watch what I can with the New York Pro. I haven't even looked. I don't know if they're going to do a live stream or what. They tried to live stream the Indy Pro and it didn't work. So it's 2021 and they can't figure out how to live stream. Jesus Christ, you would think.
Yeah, like they'd test it and be like, yeah, we're good to go. We could make some money with this. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's just not a priority. They just don't care. I think they got to care.
Yeah, they got to care. Somebody will eventually.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to follow up on that. And then the other thing I'm going to try and do, I don't know if I'll be able to get away, but I sold some motorcycle parts to this guy because, all my stuff's like vintage, right? So I got old parts and I buy stuff and kind of flip them and whatever. But so this guy bought some stuff for me and it turns out he owns like a motorcycle dealership down, I think kind of over by Long Beach.
Okay. And
so I need to get a new helmet. Now that I got the truck, the helmet is the last piece. And I've been waiting because it's probably gonna be like $500 because I'm not gonna go cheap with the helmet because it's my brain,
Yeah, don't go cheap with the helmet.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hit him up and try and go down to his store and see if he can hook me up on a good deal with the helmet. Because then at that point, I'll have my whole like race program ready. And there's a new track in Lake Elsinore, which is like an hour and a half for me, I think. And they don't have races on it yet, but it's open for practice like 6 days a week or something. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, I want to go there and get some practice laps in. And then I think maybe as early as next month, if not July for sure. There's a track in Paris, which is like an hour for me, right? And they run one race a month as part of a series. You collect points and stuff. So I'm like super excited for that, man. Like it's been years in the works trying to, get a new job and raise a baby and pay off debt.
Right.
It was real hard for me to buy any of this stuff when I knew I had money to pay, so I paid all that off and now I'm like, cool, I'm going to spend a little bit on myself and
Right.
get to enjoy this. But
Yeah, you earned it.
yeah, so I'm excited for that. Like, gonna bring a whole new element into my physical fitness because a lot of people think, you know, it's a motorcycle, right? It has its own gasoline, but it's a lot of effort to race a motorcycle. Like the pro racers, they're like in some of the best shape compared to, I mean, any athlete, just like anything. So
Really?
that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm shooting the motocross guys, the pro guys, they do like cycling and triathlon type training most of the year. Like they're in phenomenal shape. But if you watch a race and see what they do, it kind of makes sense. Like you're going to spend half an hour wrestling a bike around.
That's
Be
true.
in pretty good shape.
Yeah, a couple 100 pounds of bike.
Yeah, especially because if you screw up, like you break bones. So like,
yeah, yeah. When you put it that way, yeah, you definitely want to be able to move some metal around.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna try and do those two things this weekend. Otherwise, I've been going hard for a while with trying to get the Body Geeks website up and running, and doing all my applications and interviews. Which, by the way, I didn't get that job. I was going to mention that I was number 2, and the number 1 actually declined because I think they got some other job. So they offered it to me, but this particular position has 2 pay scales. There's the one I'm currently at, and then there's the one I want to get to. And they offered it at the one I'm currently at. So I told them I would take it if you give me the pay raise. Right. Otherwise, I'm happy with where I'm at. And they didn't want to give me the pay raise, so I'm staying where I'm at for now. But
yeah, it'll be there again.
Exactly. So I'm kind of hoping I'm going to spend this weekend resting a little bit. Try not to work. Try and do some fun stuff and just relax a little. You know?
Yeah, relax.
So, what about you?
Shoot, your guess is as good as mine. After Mother's Day weekend, I think I will just take it easy this weekend. I don't know if there's any movies out or just maybe go to the dog beach, something, something different. But yeah, same thing, probably just some relaxing.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we'll put a pin in this one.
Sounds good.
We'll continue on next week.
Yes.
All right. So thank you for tuning in. And until next time, you're watching Body Geeks.
See you guys.